Hello, my Belfast Thoughts Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. All right, we are back with another MrBallen video. This one is titled Top 3 Places You Can't Go, People Who Win Anyways, Part 23. Hmm. Oh, it's the day after Christmas. I am in misery and pain. I ate way too much and I still feel so full. I went to bed full, I woke up still full. It, oh. Hopefully, everyone had an amazing Christmas day, Christmas night, Christmas, everything. Hopefully, you got to eat way too much. I hope you got way too many presents and have way too much fun with your family. And I hope everyone's extremely safe. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's story. Go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cuddle up with someone special. Let's get traumatized. I mean, this one here does not say anything about anyone living, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty. Hmm.
Today, we're going to look at 3 places you can't go and people who went there anyways. But before we get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload 3 or 4 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please replace the like button's hairspray with Gorilla Glue adhesive spray. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's stories.
I don't know, just this image of something about Mary popped into my head as soon as you said that. Oh shit.
On February 24th, 2019, a woman arrived at a ceramics factory in Hubei province in China. She walked through the front door into the main office where she saw a desk attendant. She informed them she was a quality control inspector and she was there that day to inspect their vehicles. The attendant was accustomed to their company being periodically inspected, and so she asked the woman if she needed any help, and the woman said, "Nope, I'm just going to roam around your building, check what I need to check, and then I'll be out of here." And so the attendant told her that was totally fine, and if she needed anything, just come back and she would help her. And so the inspector thanked her and then turned around and went out the front door and checked the vehicles in the front lot of the ceramics factory. And then after she was done, she went back into the main office. She walked past the attendant and out the back door into the very active yard where all day long these huge bulldozers would move around thousands of pounds of sand. And so the inspector walked out that back door and she scanned the yard and she saw there were 2 bulldozers doing just that, moving all around. And then off to the left side, there was a dump truck that seemed to be stationary. And so very confidently, she just walked right into the yard and made her way over to that dump truck. And then when she got there, she flagged the driver down and said she was an inspector and that she was going to check the vehicle out. And so the driver helped her by turning on and off signals and moving back and forth. And then at some point, the inspector needed the dump truck driver to back up a significant distance. She needed to watch him do that. And so she, the inspector, backed away from the dump truck until she was in the middle of the yard, standing right in front of this parked bulldozer. What happens next is all caught on video. And so as she's standing there and she's watching the dump truck back up right in front.
I don't like how he said that. And what happens next is all caught on video. This poor lady, like, I feel bad. Oh God, she's gonna get run over by a reindeer.
In front of her, the bulldozer driver right behind her turns on the machine and immediately lurches forward. Now, the driver of this bulldozer did not see the woman, and she was in his blind spot right in front of the bucket of his bulldozer. And he was not aware there was somebody on foot walking around the yard. It's an extremely dangerous place to be on foot. And so he goes right into her and he knocks her backwards. She falls into the bucket. She starts screaming, but no one can hear her. It's so loud. And the driver drives the bucket directly into a pile of sand and scoops up thousands of pounds of sand.
Oh! I was like, oh, thank God she's alive. No, not for long. Oh, shit.
That come down directly on this woman. So now she's completely buried alive and being crushed by all this sand. And then the driver, completely oblivious, lifts the bucket up, turns around and drives across the yard and dumps the sand and the woman into a vibrating sand crusher. The vibrating sand crusher is exactly what it sounds like. It pulverizes bits of rock and stone and grinds them down into a very fine powder. The machines come in various shapes and sizes, but this one inside of this ceramics factory was a top-loaded version, and it basically looked like a big dumpster with this big opening at the top. And so these bulldozer drivers would
No.
take these clumps of sand and they would
Oh God, no. So even if she lived through the crushing of the sand, she's gonna get vibrated to death. That sounded wrong as soon as I said it, my bad. But oh fuck, no. Oh God. Oh.
dump it in this opening at the top of this bin. And then once they dumped their sand into the opening, the machine would vibrate, causing the sand to filter its way down towards the bottom of the machine, where there were these big, vicious metal claws that constantly smashed together and would just completely obliterate anything that passed through them. In the video, when the driver dumps his bucket load into the sand crusher, you can actually see the woman falling in, but then she immediately jumps into action and begins trying to pull herself up and out of this pile. And at some point, she gets most of her upper body out and she waves and she gets the attention of the driver who's just dumped her into the sand crusher. And the driver, he stops right away. You can see the vehicle lurch to a stop. He leaps out and he starts running over to the sand crusher. But as he's running over, this woman who's waving and waving, at some point, her leg or some other part of her gets grabbed by those jaws at the bottom of the machine. And she's pulled slowly down into the sand crusher and disappears under the sand. When this happens, the driver is frantic and he's screaming for other people in the factory.
Oh, the poor lady, the poor guy, the poor everyone involved. Oh my fuck. Uh, it, deep and this oh shit. Oh God. Oh. Oh. Okay. 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 They for one, for one, that poor lady. I have a feeling she's dead. She died horribly. For two, the poor driver. Oh my God, I bet that fucking scarred his ass for freaking life, bro. For three, whenever someone is like inspecting your stuff, shouldn't they get in contact with all employees? Hey, be very cautious. Be very cautious of all your surroundings. We have someone on the premises that is lurking around checking the equipment. Let's be very careful. I mean, shouldn't they do an announcement like that? Even a few places that I've worked, I've had to deal with inspectors coming in. And when certain inspectors come in, certain aspects of work stop while they're doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, I'm still getting paid to be there, but you stand back, let them do what they do. They'll be like, all right, I need you to go here, do this for me real fast, show me how it does, and all that good stuff, whatever the case may be. So, is that not a thing everywhere? I mean, I really don't know. I just know the places that I've worked, they really do that. They're like, all right, we have an inspector on. Like, this aspect of stuff has got to stop for the time being. If they need you to get into something, do it, and then come back out, wait for them to be done. Once they leave the premises or they leave your area and they're not coming back, you can go back at it. Whatever the case may be. Because there's been times where we've had inspectors there the whole day, and you can't just stop for the whole day. So they wouldn't inspect everything in one little section, and then that group of people would go back to work, and then these people over here are working, these people over here are working, these people they're there, and they stop everything they're doing, everything gets inspected, then they go back, and so on and so forth, all That on down the line. What the fuck?
to come over and help. And at some point, the others inside, they realize there's an emergency and they all run over. But when they realize what's happened, that someone has fallen into the sand crusher, they
Too
all
late.
just stop and stand there because they know there's nothing they can do. The woman was gone.
Was there not an emergency lever they could have went and toofs? Or hit it with the dozer and knocked the bitch over or something? I just want to scream for everyone involved. I would have been traumatized for life if I just dumped some poor soul into a crusher for them to die. I would quit my job. I would just walk out into the woods and live el natural for the rest of my life, just out in the woods. I wouldn't be able to handle that. My brain would fizz. The raptor, like Velociraptor, raptor.
In June of 2015, 45-year-old
Oh, like okay, like an actual amusement park ride raptor. Never mind. I was about to get excited, like, oh shit, they brought a dinosaur back to life and ate someone.
James Young landed his dream job. For the last several years, James had been a fifth grade teacher in East Canton, Ohio, teaching special education. And while he loved his job and he loved the kids he worked with, he had always had his eye on becoming a guidance counselor for high school students. In 1988, James had actually graduated from East Canton, Ohio High School. And ever since his graduation, he had wanted to come back to the school and help the next generation of East Canton students prepare for their lives as adults. And a guidance counselor was designed to do just that. James had applied for the job before, but every time he applied, they would tell him that while he was qualified, there just wasn't a spot open for him. However, at the end of that school year, he was told a guidance counselor spot had opened up at the high school and the job was his if he wanted it. And so, of course, James said, yes, I'll take the job. And immediately he told his mother about this amazing news. And his mother, who lived only a block away from him in East Canton, Ohio, would say that her son was so ecstatic about the job that normally when summer break was coming up, he would really look forward to that time off from school. But now that he had this new job to look forward to, he was already anxious for the summer to be over. James was a single man, but he was not lonely. He had a number of very close, lifelong friends that he would spend virtually all of his off time with. And that summer, he did just that. He went out with his friends, they explored all of Ohio and outside surrounding areas. They spent a lot of time outside and they enjoyed each other's company. Towards the end of the summer, James and his friends knew it was time to schedule their annual trip to Cedar Point. Cedar Point is an amusement park about 2 hours northwest of East Canton, Ohio. It's situated right on the shores of
Fucking love Cedar Point, bro. I really do.
Lake Erie, and it's known for its incredible roller coasters, of which they had 17, making them the park with the second most roller coasters in the world. Every summer, since James could remember, he and his very close friends would make a trip out to Cedar Point, usually at the end of the summer, to kind of cap off their vacation. After looking at their calendar, they decided that the best day to go would be Thursday, August 13th. This would give the group of friends one more fun thing to do before the following week James started his new job. So, on the morning of that Thursday, the friends piled into a car and they made the 2-hour commute up to Cedar Point. And as soon as they got there, they went inside, they grabbed a map, and they began systematically hitting as many rides as they possibly could. And so by 4:30 p.m., they were totally exhausted. They'd been on virtually every ride. And so they were about to call it a day when James
I mean, that's you got to, bud. You got to. Especially when you get one of them passes that just let you cut the firing line. I know it pisses a lot of people off, but I don't care. I paid good money for that pass. I don't care. I want to piss someone off. I mean, those things are expensive. Get that front of that line. It's like, got the golden ticket, y'all. Got the golden ticket. The Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, y'all. On my way.
and his friends decide, hey, let's go on one more ride before we pack it in. And so they pull out their map and they're looking and they realize they haven't gone on one of their favorite rides. It was called the Raptor. The Raptor was not Cedar Point's biggest roller coaster, but it was their fastest. It would reach a top speed of 57 miles per hour. Passengers are seated 4 across with their feet dangling below them in these suspended chairs with the big harness that comes down. And
Not gonna lie, first time I ever rode that, I about shit myself so bad. Okay. Let me explain why. I had a lot of corn dogs and shit like that. Belly was already a little turning. And whenever I got into it, I have this thing with heights. Heights don't scare me tremendously. But in certain instances, they terrify the living shit out of me. Okay, me just dangling there, soon as I realized, that is actually what is going on here, my stomach started going right like that. As soon as we took off, I felt my butthole go. I shitted it everywhere.
And once the ride starts, they're brought slowly up this 137-foot hill, and then at the top they pause before being dropped down into this nearly 4,000-foot long track that spins them upside down 6 different times.
Don't
So
like the
James
dangly.
and his friends, they closed up their
Do not like the dangly. I felt like I was going to fall the whole damn time.
map and they ran their way over to the Raptor. They got in line, and by 4:50 p.m., they had made it to the front of the line. They got into their seats, their harness came down, and then the ride started. And they were pulled up to the top of the hill. They paused, and then they were launched down the track. And for 2 minutes, they zipped and zagged and looped all through this track. And then it was just suddenly over. And the friends had a great time on the ride.
Yeah, it's scary as shit, but it don't last long. You go so fast. I mean, it feels like forever, but all at the same time, it feels like a moment.
Except James realized about halfway through the ride, when they were upside down, his phone and wallet had come out of his pockets, and he actually saw them fall.
That's why they have those little boxes, bro. You put it in there, and you no, you. I've lost a lot of shit on these rides. I'm very glad they have those lock boxes now that you can actually put stuff into and the lock, and you get the key, and it wraps around your little wrist with that Velcro shit. That way you don't lose it.
Down towards the ground, and although he didn't see exactly where they landed, he had a pretty good idea of where they were. And so after they got off the ride, the friends were kind of talking about how much fun it was, and James said to them, "Hey, I lost my cell phone and wallet. Will you guys come with me while I go look for them?" And so the friends agreed. They left the Raptor station and they walked down the paved path until they were in front of this fence that said no trespassing. And so James gets up to the fence and he's looking inside of this fenced-in area, and he sees right in the middle of this restricted area is his phone and his wallet. And before James's friends could tell him not to do this, he had climbed over the fence and entered into this restricted area. He ran over to his phone and his wallet, he picked it up, and then when he stood back up again, the next wave of Raptor riders came blazing through the area, and the underside, the steel underside of the ride, hit James right in the back of the head. He never saw it coming. It threw him forward, he landed on his face, and immediately the park officials saw this happen. They stopped the ride, but the riders on board the Raptor, they didn't know what was going on. And so they're stopped on the ride. They're looking down and they hear people screaming, and they look down and they see there's this man, James, lying face down on the ground with blood pooling around his head.
Oh my
The fence
God.
James had climbed over was there specifically to keep visitors from getting too close to this one low point in the Raptor ride where the ride can come through and it can hit you. And so medical workers, they rush over, they hop over the fence, they get to James, but it was too late. He was pronounced dead at the scene. That day, Cedar Park was put under investigation for James's death, but after reviewing the footage and talking to witnesses, the investigation was closed and they determined that the park was not at fault. James, despite being a very intelligent and sensible man, had a brief lapse in judgment, and it unfortunately cost him his life. Today, Cedar Park is still open for business and the Raptor ride is still operational.
Yeah, that's not the park's fault. I mean, the sign, they clearly it was right there. I mean, even though it was like, it said no trespassing on it. Everyone has dumb moments, though. We all do. If you say you don't, you're a liar. We all have them dumb moments. But luckily for most of us, we get to live through our dumb moments. That makes me feel so bad for him. He was getting ready to. It was the end of summer. He was getting ready to start his dream job. Oh, that's fucked. And I guarantee you, if he would have just went up to like the little desk or something, be like, "Hey, look right there. See that? That's my wallet and my phone. Can you send someone out there before you send your next group of people in to together that for me, they would have done it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Because I imagine that shit happens a lot.
On August 14th, 2012, Celestino Cervantes picked up 28-year-old Victor Diaz for work. Celestino was an expert roofer, and he had just hired Victor to come on his crew and help him with a particular job. This was going to be Victor's first day as a roofer, but for the past 10 years,
I was a roofer for a very short period of time. Cannot say it's my cup of tea at all. Because I like coffee. No, honestly, it wasn't bad. It's just the third roof that we worked on, well, that I worked on with them, was a A-frame house, and it scared the living fuck out of me. Like, you had these things that you sit down and you stand on them, and then you had the rope wrapped around you. And then, no, like, that scared me. Like, I would slide periodically, but not bad. Like, I just feel myself going back a little bit, like, oh. And here I am at the peak of the motherfucker too. But it was tolerable until the wind started blowing. Like I said, I'm not bad with heights. Just certain things with heights freak me the fuck out. And that scared the living shit out of me. I ain't gonna lie, because we was putting a metal roof on there, so like if I would have slid off this little cushion that held me in place, I would have just kept on going. I don't trust none of it.
he had worked in construction, so he was familiar with the operation. The two men arrived at their job site in San Antonio, Texas around 8 a.m. that morning. They were in charge of putting
And I know what you're saying. Bill, it's the A-frame house. There's metal roofing on it. You would have just slid down to the bottom. No, because the bottom part was no, it did not have the roof on it yet. Because the way it went straight down this way. This side here came down and then went out that way. So we was putting all this on, and then we had to put in the connectors and all that shit, and then we had to run the roof out. So I would have slid down and then down. It wouldn't have been a fun slide all the way to the bottom. It'd been a fun slide until I hit the part where there was no more roof, and it would have sucked.
a new roof on a 115-year-old building that was being redeveloped into a fancy steakhouse. Until 2001, this building had been used by a brewing company to house their enormous boilers. As such, this building was referred to as the boiler house. Protruding from the boiler house roof was this large metal duct that was 15 feet long and almost looked like a covered walkway, and it connected to the side of this huge smokestack. This duct and smokestack used to be how the built-up condensation inside the boiler house was able to travel up and out of the building. When the two roofers got out of their truck, Celestino told Victor to take his tools and make his way up to the roof of the boiler house and get to work, and that he had a few things he had to do down on the ground floor, but he would be up to check on him in a little bit. Celestino turned around and was fiddling with his equipment inside of the truck while Victor made his way into the building and out of sight. An hour and a half later, Celestino went up to the roof to check on Victor, but he couldn't find Victor anywhere and he couldn't find his tools anywhere. So Celestino went back down into the main section of this building where other contractors that were working on this renovation were, and he began asking them, hey, have you seen this guy, Victor? He works with me, I can't find him, and no one had seen him. And so Celestino's thinking to himself, well, I guess Victor must have left. But that didn't really make any sense because Victor didn't have a vehicle and he didn't live nearby. But Celestino's thinking, you know what, maybe somebody came and picked him up. Now, unfortunately, Victor did not carry a cell phone, so nobody had any way of getting directly in contact with him. So Celestino leaves the building and he calls Victor's brother and he asks him, have you seen Victor? Do you know where he might have gone? And Victor's brother says, no, I haven't seen him since this morning when he left with you. So Victor's brother began calling around to friends and family and asked them if they had seen Victor, but nobody knew where he was. So for the rest of the day, Celestino and the rest of Victor's friends and family, they went out looking for Victor at the job site and around the surrounding areas, but there was just no sign of him. And so that night, Victor's brother went to the police to file a missing person report. But the police told him that it was really too early to file a report because Victor was an adult and there was no sign of foul play, and that he should just come back in a day or two if Victor still has not shown up. 2 days go by and Victor had still not shown up. So Victor's sister-in-law went back to the police and says, okay, now I want to file a missing person report. We don't know where he is. No one can get in touch with him. We need your help. But the officer she spoke to told her that she still needed to wait another 5 days to process this request. It would turn out this was just not true. It was a mistake. There was no arbitrary waiting.
This doesn't sound like a mistake. It sounds like just straight up bullshit because he didn't want to go off his fucking ass and do something. All right. For one, I don't like the 2-day rule, period. I don't. In any way, shape, or form. If someone I know is missing, I'm not waiting 2 days. Look, I know this person. I've known them a hell of a lot longer than you fucking have. Don't sit there and tell me, oh, just wait a couple days, they'll be back. No, I'm telling you, if we wait a couple days, it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to be harder for you to find them. This is not normal. This is not right. This is not how no. You need to get off your ass, put down the donut, and go fucking find the people I want you to find. It is your job. You know what I mean? But I understand. Some people, they do something stupid. They think something's going to happen. They just need a couple days to figure out. They usually come back. I get it. I do. I'm not dumb. But don't, after that 2 days, don't come in and be like, oh, okay, give us like 5 extra days. No, motherfucker. My people ain't going to be missing a whole week while you sit there and do not a damn thing. Fuck you. You get off your ass. You get out there and you fucking find them. Or they're going to be looking for you, bro. You know what I mean? Sorry. I hate that.
Period to file a missing person report. So without any help from the police, Victor's friends and family and co-workers spent the next several days scouring San Antonio, scouring the job site, looking everywhere for him and handing out flyers and asking people if they'd seen him, but no one had.
That's fucking ridiculous. That's bullshit. That's just straight bullshit, laziness, and an undesire to want to actually do your freaking job.
He had just disappeared. By Monday the following week, so 6 days after Victor has gone missing, his family had printed out dozens of these huge posters with his face on them and a number to call if you had any information about him, and their plan was to distribute them the following morning all over San Antonio. But the following morning, before they headed out, they got a call. Victor had been found. 7 days earlier, when Celestino told Victor to head inside and make his way to the roof and begin the project, Victor had gotten his tools, gone inside, he made his way up the stairwell to the second floor, and then he made a series of odd decisions. Instead of making his way to the access door and climbing his way up to the roof, he went to the far side of the second floor where there were all these wooden barriers preventing people from going any farther. He climbed over all these barriers and he reached the entrance to that huge duct where the condensation used to go.
Bro, why'd you do that? Like, all this stuff that's supposed to keep people out, it's supposed to keep people out. We're not going to make it hard on you to get there, okay? We want our workers to be able to get there with their tools. A-okay. I don't want you having to climb over shit. What was he thinking when he did this? Like, I'm taking the road less traveled. That's me. That's who I am.
And so from his perspective, he would have been looking into this duct and it would have been completely pitch black because it connected to that smokestack and the smokestack was totally sealed off. But despite not having any idea where this tunnel goes and it clearly not being the place Celestino told him to go, Victor decides to just get into this tunnel, which required bending over because it was only 4 feet tall and 5 feet wide. So he gets inside of this tunnel and he begins shuffling his way deeper and deeper into this tunnel until he reaches the end of the tunnel where it actually connects into the smokestack. Now at the top of this duct where it...
Wait, hold up. I bet he got hurt. He had to get hurt. Because I'm pretty sure like you have it going up and then it connects in and then it's just a straight shot like whoosh, down. Right? Ain't it? A long time ago I worked for this place called Feed Corps. And we'd get lowered in from the top into the smokestacks, and we'd have to sit there and power blast the soot and stuff off the inside of it, inside of the big old blast furnaces and shit. I did not like that either.
Connects to the smokestack, there wasn't a grate or bars or any sort of barrier that would stop you from spilling into the smokestack. And because it was totally pitch black, Victor, when he made it to the edge of that duct, he just kept on walking and fell 20 feet down to the bottom of the smokestack. Ooh. And so, in total darkness, Victor, who was probably badly hurt from the fall,
Yeah.
began feeling around the
Wait, who was badly? Oh fuck, Victor. Did Victor die? Oh damn, I was thinking like they just like found him like he was stuck in the motherfucker. Not like he got stuck and then died. MrBallen. Oh.
inside of the chimney looking for a way out. And he eventually found a hatch that was
Oh.
big enough for him to fit through.
Okay.
But when he felt up against it, he realized it was locked from the outside and it wouldn't even budge. He couldn't even get light to come in through a crack. It was totally sealed off. And that was the only way out of the smokestack unless he could get back up to the duct. But there was no way to do that. He most likely began screaming for help, but he was encased in thick brick, and so his sound wouldn't have traveled. It would have been completely muffled.
He did die, didn't he? Fuck. Victor, bud, I was really hoping for you, bud. Like, the way he was talking, like, oh, Victor had been found. Like, but he keeps using past tense things now, and I don't like it. More likely, they couldn't hear him while he screamed out for help. Dude.
Plus, the smokestack was fairly far away from the job site, which was very noisy as it is, and so there was just no way they could have heard him. And the smokestack and the duct were not part of the renovation, and so there was absolutely no foot traffic over around the smokestack. He was completely alone, no one knew he was there, and there was no way out. 7 days after Victor fell into the smokestack, workers over at the job site, they noticed this huge swarm of flies over around the base of the smokestack. There were so many flies over there, they decided they had to go investigate. And so as they walked closer and closer to the smokestack, they were hit with this overwhelming stench of death and decay. And then when they got to the smokestack, they could see the flies were centralized on that hatch at the bottom. And so they cut the lock, they opened it up, and inside they found Victor's body. And they saw his hands were badly bloodied and bruised, and they were pressed up against the inside of the hatch, indicating in his final moments he was desperately trying to open that hatch and save himself, but there was just no way to do that. Although no one knows this for sure, it's believed Victor confused the condensation duct with the access point to the roof. So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's video, let
Fuck. No one lives. Everyone died this time. Oh, Victor. Why? What tools did he have with him? Oh, man. Oh, man. No. Alright, so no one lived. Everyone died this time. Woo! I enjoyed it though. I love these three-parter ones like this, especially like places people shouldn't go, but they went anyways. They're all dead now. I don't know why I like them for. I do though. I really, really do. Alright, if y'all enjoyed today's video as much as I did, please leave a thumbs up if you're a fan of the spooky, scary, strange, deranged people making stupid choices and dumb mistakes and paying with their lives. Think about subscribing because, you know, that's what we get. That's what we do. That's what we see. That's what we hear. That's what we are. Hey, people make dumb mistakes all the time. Just like I said, most of the time we get to tell the tale of our stupidity. And in these certain cases, like I feel the first one, oh, I felt so bad. I mean, I feel really, really, really bad for the lady that got, you know, dead. But I feel really bad for the dude that like drove into her, picked up sand with her in it, dumped it into the thing, and basically killed her. Like that's going to be on his conscience for the rest of his fucking life. I killed the lady. Oh my God. Like I don't want to work here no more. I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm fucking done. I'm out. I'm over it. Deuces, bro. Peace out. The second one, Oh, the dude was getting ready to start like his dream job that he wanted so bad. He was so happy, and then dead. Victor just started a new job. That's probably gonna pay better than his other job. That's why people start new jobs. That or they just didn't have a job to begin with. I mean, you don't really look forward to downgrading your job. So I mean, now uh, I really thought he was gonna live though. I thought they was gonna find him like maybe in the smokestack, like alive, like severely dehydrated, malnourished, maybe some heat exhaustion or some shit, but not like just dead. All right. Yeah. Subscribe to this channel. Let me tell you. In like 3 weeks, we're going to try our damnedest within that first 3 weeks to just straight up traumatize you. All right. Be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Fucking shit. Everyone died horribly in that one, except for the second one. I'm pretty sure that probably hit him so hard and so fast that it was just instant death. The other ones, the other two, I'm pretty sure they fucking suffered, especially Victor. Now, I don't know how long your body can last being crushed by a sand crusher until you just pass out from the pain and that's it. But that no, I have a new fear in life and I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, oh God.